Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here. This is your latest Planning Outlook video updated on Friday the 5th of October. Now there's some very wet conditions on the way for Western Scotland in particular during the week ahead. Fairly mild compared to recent times as winds are south or southwesterly, but some windy days with upland gales or storm force winds at times. The drier, brighter conditions typically focus toward the eastern mountains, maybe even northern Scotland on some days, England and Wales too. Not doing too bad, but some low cloud plaguing western hills here at times. In the first half of the week, the story really is a strong southwesterly fetch with a tropical maritime air mass that's being drawn across the British Isles, and once it's in a straight line as shown here, it just enhances that orographic rainfall, the hills being in the way, basically forming the barrier, those moist air masses coming in and just allowing copious amounts of rain to fall across those western hills as the air rises, condenses as it cools. The result is a total rainfall chart that looks something like this. This is 5 days through into the end of Tuesday. Now this takes into account some of the rain through Friday into Saturday too of the current time, with a swathe of rain across Wales and central northern England, where an inch of rain may well fall in total from Friday night into Saturday as a frontal wave is slow moving here. Once that's out of the way, more or less not too much rain to come then over the days ahead on England and Wales. Western Scotland, though, picking up on some prolonged heavy falls at times. Some of the modelling has a good 150 to 200 mil on the higher resolution modelling, not really shown on this chart, but you can tell the picture really how Western Scotland is picking up on the highest totals. Contrast that toward the eastern side of the Highlands, the northern Cairngorms, you might just be looking at sort of 10 to 15 mil or less. That's very classic orographic enhancement in the west then, and the rain shadowing away toward the east of the Scottish Highlands. Let's take you through the charts then, and here's Saturday. There's the waving front which is across England and Wales. Low pressure to the southeast will be drawn away into Europe gradually. We've got a ridge of higher pressure toppling around from the Atlantic. A few showers locally around some coastal hills in Scotland where these drift inland. They will be wintry over the higher ground, snow or hail above 700 or 800 metres, and a chilly day across the mountains, but a bright one with some sunshine and cloud breaking towards higher tops. Winds will strengthen though by Saturday night into Sunday. Southwesterlies coming steaming in, and a pretty wet day across the West Highlands. That rain soon setting in, heavy and prolonged. Occasional rain spilling eastwards across the Highlands, but relatively smaller amounts. Maybe a few spits and spots in the wind for, say, northwest England. But across the bulk of the Pennines and Wales, it looks a dry day, but still a windy one. The strongest winds, though, storm force on higher areas, will be focused across Scotland. It stays windy into Monday, maybe not quite as strong as Sunday, but up towards gale force on many hills nevertheless. Again, a slow moving, waving front will be trailing across Scotland, wet across the West Highlands. Exactly which part of the West or Northwest Highlands sees the most prolonged heavy falls depends exactly where that front comes to rest, but a pretty wet day again here. Largely dry eastern side of the Highlands, and little if anything either for most of England and Wales. South by southwesterlies continue into Tuesday. Still got a waving front then coming in off the Atlantic to give some further rain to the West Highlands. That ongoing story of pretty persistent rainfall then across Western Scotland over these days ahead. And we might get something again just coming onto western hills of England and Wales, but largely a dry story for a good part of Wales, the Pennines and eastern Scotland. Mild air is being drawn in from the southwest. Detail a bit tricky towards midweek. A developing area of low pressure is trying to come in from the Atlantic. Within this is the remnants of a tropical storm that's been loitering over the Atlantic for a good couple of weeks. So again, enhancing the energy and moisture available for this system. So the risk of rain and possible severe gales coming in with that low. But ahead of that, some very warm air being drawn up from the south. Across central England, for example, it'll be 20 degrees or more on Wednesday. The milder air will be felt even pushing northwards into Scotland, though. So towards the end of the week, we've got that general south by southwesterly airstream still in charge, and that may be with us for a little while longer, even into the weekend and beyond. Various areas of low pressure over the Atlantic will be trying to push their fronts northwards across the British Isles. Much of it may well affect Ireland, but there'll be some rain at times getting to western Scotland. The wind from the south means that the low cloud may break up pretty readily towards northern Scotland. The Northwest Highlands may escape drier and clearer than perhaps you might think, despite some rain coming into the West Highlands with that southerly airstream anywhere, say, north of Westeros and Torridon doing pretty well perhaps. The Cairngorms doing pretty well too. Day-to-day variations, expect there to be some rain and some days where the winds are up to gale force nevertheless. And I think that overall fairly mild southwesterly theme will take us on through the weekend and beyond. High pressure lies to the east of us, low pressure is over the Atlantic, and a bit of back and forth between which one holds sway. I think the changeable southwesterlies may well be the order of things heading towards mid-October. As always then, keep a close eye on your local details for the next 3 days ahead, updated every day on the Mountain Weather website. We'll have the video updated for you again early in the new week. Thanks for watching, bye for now.